Hey guys, I get asked a lot about sizes in Japan, about specifically how bigger people go in Japan, tall people or heavy people. I'm 6'3", about 189 centimeters. So in Japan I'm sort of above average in height. So I can tell you some of my experiences here and some observations about what other larger people, taller or heavier people might experience here. The first one is just getting around, you know, just for people coming here for holidays. As far as getting around, you'll notice a lot of older buildings. The entrances are low, about 180 centimeters, so about 6 foot, which is about here. So if I'm not paying attention, I do sometimes, well, when I first came here I used to clock myself in the forehead a little bit. And going into doorways here, when you're entering into a doorway, quite often it's a genkan, which means that you're going in, you're going to take your shoes off, which means as you're entering, you're usually looking down, which can be dangerous. So yeah, doorways, tall people have to be careful in doorways. Also in shops and on trains, you'll often find that there's things that are hanging, you know, at like 6 foot, you know, 180 centimeters, signs hanging down or other things hanging down, so you have to keep an eye out for that. As far as beds and bedding, so beds or futons, it's quite common if you're over 6 foot to find that, you know, the bed's 6 foot or the futon's 6 foot and your feet will stick out the bottom, or your head will stick out the top, I guess. That's quite common too. The other one is slippers. When you go places, some restaurants and people's homes and places like that, they'll often offer you slippers at the genkan as you go into the entrance. You've seen this on the other genkan video, but quite often those slippers are about 26 centimeters long, which is about a size 8.5, I think, in the old system, imperial system. Wish you Americans would switch over to metric with the rest of us so we don't have to convert everything for you. Anyway, so yeah, that's quite common too. You'll go into a place and they'll hand you little slippers that are just too small, and then you've got to walk through, you know, the restaurant or the house or whatever it is in slippers that are way too small for you. So you've got to sort of shuffle to keep them on your feet. That's pretty common too for people with big feet. So yeah, I mean, none of this stuff's a real big deal, really. You know, it's just part of being here. You know, being big here, you know, it can make you a little bit self-conscious sometimes, being really big here. But, you know, it's sort of normal. I mean, foreigners stand out. That's another thing people ask is, you know, will I stand out if I'm heavy or if I'm really tall? Yeah, yes you will, but foreigners stand out here anyway, you know, so it's not really a big deal. It's not really worth worrying about. Just before I forget too, I should mention that I do see Japanese guys that are taller than me occasionally, and I do see Japanese guys that are heavier than me occasionally. So they do exist here, which leads me to the next thing, is that you can get, because people often ask, can they buy, so for people that are going to be living here for a period of time, they ask if they can get their sizes. First thing I'll mention is, I think if you're coming here for 6 months or for a year, or something like that, I would recommend bringing as many clothes as you can that you can buy in your own country. Would be my advice. Buy new clothes. And when I used to come over here for a month at a time before I started living here, I always bought new clothes before I came, because having new clothes in Japan is a good way to go anyway, because these guys are pretty up with having new clothes and being fashionable and clean and tidy. So new clothes is a good way to go anyway. But if you're only coming for 6 months or a year or something, I'd strongly recommend buying up clothes before you come, you know, winter and summer clothes before you come, and bringing them with you. Because you can get bigger sizes here. The small town I live in, I can't. I have to go to the city. But if you go to a big city, you'll find stores that sell bigger sizes. But the standard store in Japan, shoe shops, girls' sizes. I think the biggest girl's size might be 24 centimeters. 24 centimeters, which is 8 inches, something like that. It's about a 24. The guys' sizes, the biggest guy's size in the average shoe shop is about 26.5, which is about a size 9. Is the biggest size shoe that you can find in a normal men's shop. But if you go to the big cities, you can find stores where they sell shoes that are size 29, which is like a size 11 or a size 11.5 or something. So that's shoes. And then when it comes to shirts and things like that, in a shirt in Japan, I weigh 88 kilos and I'm 189 centimeters, and I take a size 3L in Japan. Most shops in Japan, the shirts are up to L size, so they have S, M, L. That's it. So most shops in Japan, I can't get shirts or pants or anything else that fits me. So yeah, so the average shoe shop, the average clothes shop, no good to me at all. So I have to go to the big city, and I have to find the shops where they do sell big size stuff. And then I can find stuff my size. The only thing is, of course, this means that our choices are limited, and this is why I recommended bringing clothes with you when you come, because you will be able to find stuff that's your size, but your choices are really limited. Of course, you don't have the full spectrum. You know, if I go shopping in Australia, of course, if I find a shirt that I like, I can buy it because they'll have it in my size. But in Japan, the way it usually works is you find stuff you like, they won't have your size, and then if you go to a place that does have the big size stuff, chances are you're not going to like any of it. That's what I find. It's difficult to get stuff in your size that you like. So yeah, there's shopping. The sizes do exist. I mean, keep in mind this is the land of the sumo, so they do have really big guys here, and you do see big guys. You do see big guys here. Like I said, you see guys here that are taller and heavier than me, but they are in the minority. The average Japanese person is I don't know what the average height is for an average Japanese guy, but it's definitely under 6 foot, and less than 70 kilos, most of them. So that's the size, and when you go to the shops, you can see that's the size they cater for. And same with the ladies' sizes. The ladies' stuff's all smaller as well. And once again, with ladies, you can get bigger size stuff as well, but again, you're going to be limited. So yeah, if you're only going to be here for 6 months or 12 months, or even if you're only going to be here for 2 years, I'd recommend bring as many new clothes as you can with you, and at least you'll know you've got them then. Other than that, being big in Japan, there's not really anything else I can think of offhand that's going to cause you any hassles here. People will mention it. If you're really tall, quite often the first thing they'll say to me is, "Oh, wow, you're really tall." Yeah, yeah, I guess. So, you sort of got to laugh and yes, I am a bit. Sort of laugh it off, sort of thing. But yeah, other than that, there's no real big deal to it, really. Not worth worrying about. Not worth worrying about at all. And to the large people, I've had some people that were really worried because, one guy was 110 kilo and he was worried that, he's really big and so on. No, I wouldn't worry about it. They're not, you're not likely to get ridiculed here. That's one thing, is you're not likely to get ridiculed. You'll get looked at, but don't worry about it. Like I said before, we all get looked at. So don't worry about that. Don't let that worry you. So yeah, don't let it worry you. If you're tall or a little bit rounder than usual, don't worry about it. Just come on over. It won't make any difference. But just make sure you bring lots of clothes with you. Lots of clothes, lots of shoes, lots of socks, lots of spare everything, and you'll be fine. Anyway, I hope that helps somebody. More videos coming soon.